Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day, where we're continuing our way through Superman 96 and the second story, Mr. Mxyzptlk Mayor of Metropolis. Yes, Mr. Mxys has been elected mayor, and it is a very entertaining comic that I have a lot of fun with. It's not perfect by any means, and it's not up there with my favorite Superman stories, but it's enjoyable enough, and I guess that is a success. We still have an ending problem, though it's a better ending problem than other ending problems. Still kind of feels like it comes out of nowhere. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. So Mr. Mxys has been elected mayor of Metropolis. How, you may ask? Well, he just is mysterious. That's his entire campaign strategy. He basically turns his name into like three names, Mxyzptlk, and runs on just being mysterious, and people vote for him, which we voted for people for worse reasons. What's great about that comment is no matter what your political leaning is, you are thinking of a different candidate. So it works for everyone. But it turns out it's Mr. Mxys, and honestly, this is all on Clark, that he didn't realize the name that sounded like Mr. Mxyzptlk was Mr. Mxyzptlk to begin with. Now, what's actually great about Mxyzptlk as mayor is he actually does seem to want to do a good job, which is fascinating for a guy who once sent a tidal wave to destroy Metropolis or another city. I forget which thing he tried to destroy at the beginning in his first story. But he did send a tidal wave at a city. And people say he's not really a danger in the sense that he doesn't really kill people. He has attempted to kill people. So he wants to do a good job, but for some reason seems to think a mayor's duty is to have every single job in Metropolis. That includes like firefighter and judge. And you can sort of see the problem with Mr. Mxys to begin with. He doesn't really care about human life, and also he is a chaotic being. So him trying to help out and like stop a fire is going to lead to a lot of collateral damage and possibly some deaths by how his magic handles this. He's not really thinking through protecting human life. He's just doing stuff as big as he can, which is what's great about Mr. Mxyzptlk. He's a very big character, and even though he's very silly, it is a legitimate challenge for Superman. So a lot of this story is Superman having to fix or stop bad things from happening from what Mr. Mxyzptlk is doing, which is a challenge, and B, it keeps the story from feeling like every action set piece is filler. In other Superman stories, and when there's like three things, or when they just give him filler, he's just kind of like saving things really quickly, maybe a page. Some of those things are not even set up. All this kind of moves the story forward. Not all of it. It kind of repeats itself. It is just Mr. Mxyzptlk going from one thing to another. So it's not amazing storytelling, but it at least has narrative purpose. It's the little victories, guys. Come on. So Superman's way of trying to stop Mr. Mxyzptlk, which always you get him to say his name backwards, that sends him back to the fifth dimension, is first to give him a literacy test, which feels so problematic, seeing that A, that's not a thing, and B, the reason that's not a thing is due to racial discrimination in the history of the United States. So, yeah, what a terrible thing to throw at Mr. Mxys, but Mr. Mxys sees through it. I like it when he actually sees through the attempt first, because we went a long way with him being really stupid about stuff. So, once again, giving Superman an actual challenge. And also, if Superman's going to make up a literacy test, why doesn't he actually pull real reasons why Mr. Mxys couldn't be mayor, seeing that he is A, not a U.S. citizen, and B, not born in this dimension? He doesn't have citizenship. He can't be mayor. Though those are two things he can just magically fix in a second. Which you would think the literacy test he could also fix in a second with his magical being, but I guess the trick is to send him back. So how does Superman defeat him, you may ask? Well, he poses as a defendant in a trial where Mxys is being the judge, and says that his name is a version of Mr. Mxyzptlk backwards set into you. So this just doesn't have much of a setup. It just kind of happens. We go to Mr. Mxys being a judge. So there's my whole problem with, I want a story to sort of build to its climax, and this didn't really build to its climax. It just got to another section of the story, and this time Superman's plan worked. But I will give it credit for using the idea of Mr. Mxyzptlk's name as like turned into something that sounds like someone's name, because that's how he ran for the mayor in the beginning of the story. It feels like it nicely bookends each other, almost like the opposite things happening, but it is the same thing happening. So it does feel like there's at least some thought and kismet to how Superman defeats him at the end. But still, I feel like we should have just built to something, some sort of clash of intellect between Mr. Mxyzptlk and Superman. But that's a lot to ask for in these Golden Age stories. But overall, really good attempt. Just bring back Mr. Mxyzptlk more often. He does create an interesting challenge if you're willing to face him head on with what he brings to Superman. Okay, that is it from Superman 96. Mr. Mxyzptlk, Mayor of Metropolis. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when a new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Friday is Bat Friday, where I cover a Batman story in either Detective Comics or Batman. And seeing that it's Valentine's Day this Friday and my wife is off, that's definitely not happening this week. Until next time, let us ponder the question, whatever did happen to the Man of Tomorrow? And honestly, Mr. Mxyzptlk makes Superman look a little lazy here, seeing how much he's trying to accomplish on any given day. Okay, have a great day.